Hi everybody, welcome to the blog today. So I started with this blog and I started with my random thought and then I was going to move to the blog. But as I kept researching and doing some things on my random thought, I found out some other stuff. So this might be just one big long blog about three different articles I found about the same company. And it's a company that I've been watching actually, Clearview AI. You remember, if you recall, I think it was one of my first blogs of the year. And the Wall Street Journal, I think, was it, or is it the New York Times? Who was it? It was the New York Times, did a front page story about Clearview AI and how they were scraping images from Facebook, from Venmo, from YouTube, and using it. And law enforcement was using that technology to identify people. And there was a follow up story that said that I think it was another law enforcement agency, I'm sorry, was using it to identify children and sex trafficking cases and things like that. And that's all very concerning right off the bat. Um, and then what I discovered, I'll tell you how the random thought was going to go, and then I'll get back to what I just found out. So they I was only going to say that they actually own a sister company called Insight Cameras that are actually testing the use of live facial recognition in the security cameras. And um, but there was this. I think it was BuzzFeed that did this investigative report, and it wasn't that they have a public partnership. It was that the some of the source code and everything tied into the website of Insight Cameras was mirrored Clearview AI's site, so they were able to tie the companies together just based on their web presence and things that were calling upon back end Clearview AI servers and everything like that. I don't really want to geek out on you, but they were able to make the connection between Clearview AI and Insight Cameras. So it's like, okay, so now you're creating a camera that's now going to be able to live stream facial recognition from these 3 billion scrape records. So we're putting this all together, right? And then what came out was that two senators are now calling to probe the use of facial recognition because evidently Clearview AI actually says that it does business with Saudi Arabia or UAE, or and it's a global business. So these regimes, of course, are definitely not regimes that are, privacy friendly. So that connection was made, and so now the U.S. government, at least these two senators, are looking into Clearview AI. You have Insight Cameras. Their Clearview documents show that they have 2,200 private and public entities, including the FBI, Macy's, and other law enforcement companies. And one of the interesting things was that the BuzzFeed report was talking about was the fact that this whole law enforcement thing is new because when they first came out, their marketing materials were targeted towards banking, retail, insurance, and oil companies. And if you remember the article that the New York Times published, they were talking about even using the the Clearview AI features in augmented reality glasses. And then you're like, okay, so, and I remember talking about that. If I'm walking down the street, I have on augmented reality glasses. Now I'm able to identify the person based on all of these images, and the way that were scraped illegally, or violation of the terms and conditions of those sites. They have these public facial features that are linked to social media. So now I'm able to see this person. I can link it to this, link it to that. And I remember talking about the difficulty um, is to try to say, okay, this is only going to be for law enforcement because this is a capitalist country, right? Law enforcement, a government contract is good and it'll make you a lot of money. However, the big complaint about Clearview AI is that there's nothing saying you can't get to the back end logic that's actually being created. And so, because they're a secret company, they're a startup, so they don't want to release anything. So there's not a lot of information that's there about them. And so now, people are starting to say, wait a minute, I heard about this. And the government is like, wait a minute, the FBI is using this. And on top of that, okay, so this is what made me just pause and say, okay, I need to record now. They just had a breach. Oh my God. Clearview AI actually just had a breach. I believe it was the last week, right around, and they announced this breach during RSA a couple weeks ago, right? And so they just had a breach with, and them I have to read this. So the startup Clearview AI disclosed to its customers that an intruder gained unauthorized access to its list of customers, to the number of user accounts those customers had set up, and the number of searches its customers have conducted. The notification said the company's servers were not breached and that there was no compromise of Clearview's systems or networks. Okay, so you you have a company that is essentially founded on the fact that you're violating people's privacy and facial recognition, and now you have a breach which now violates the privacy of your customers, but that's the foundation of your entire business, is violations. It's just really ironic. And so of in the worst possible answer that any executive could give, that of a startup, when asked about this, the answer was, unfortunately, data breaches are a part of life. So you do business with all these law enforcement companies, including the FBI. You are now, violating people's privacy by, at least questionably scraping all these social media sites to get the information that you're now selling to these law enforcement agencies. And now the information for your law enforcement agency customers, those customers' data has now been breached. Oh my God, what a ironic twist of fate. I just couldn't, as I was reading these articles, and it site after site, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is horrible. Now, startups doing security badly, it's not a new thing. You remember DoorDash had a breach, but if the foundation of your business is to not only collect sensitive information about people, why aren't you thinking about security from the inception of your business? Why? This is just completely, I just don't even really have the words to describe how horrible this is. And if it's going to take them out or not, I don't know. But you founded a business on collecting sensitive information, some of the most sensitive information about people from public spaces. And you're creating a security camera, and you have all this data, and you get a breach. Okay, so from a law enforcement perspective, from a customer perspective, how do I trust a company that's collecting all this sensitive information and they don't have security right either? I don't know. The entire thing was like completely surprising to me, and it was just Clearview AI, Insight cameras, everything was for this particular blog. So I'm gonna have to find something else for my random thought for today. Stay tuned. We'll figure out what it is together. All right. Does your organization have written cybersecurity policies and procedures? If not, you may want to take a look at the cybersecurity law firm of Texas Policy Starter Pack. May have some things out there that may interest you in your organization. One of the most interesting things that I found out when transitioning from the government to private industry is that a lot of organizations just don't write down what their policies and procedures are. And then when there's some type of incident, they have a hard time proving that they were being reasonable in their approach. So please take a look at our starter pack, and if there's anything we can help you with, let us know. Guys, random thought for today. So, you know what? I saw this interesting breach. You know, I try to do different things, but the Walgreens mobile app. So if you use Walgreens, pay attention. They had um, a breach here. Well, it wasn't really a breach. It's application security. They had an application error, an internal application error that allowed certain personal messages and healthcare information to be exposed to anybody using the app itself for other customers. Um, so basically, your first name, last name, your shipping address, maybe your prescription drug number and drug names were potentially exposed to anybody using that app. I think that they said that happened between, it was only like 6 days or something like that, between the 5th and 9th of January or something like that. The 9th and 15th, I'm sorry, of January. This was happening. So if you are using that app, if you know, they recommend that you monitor your prescription and medical records to ensure that no fraud is taking place. There's no financial data involved, but it's still healthcare information, sensitive healthcare information. I mean, I remember way back when I was looked at my, you know, little sheet, the prescription drug sheet that they print out and attached to your prescription. There's a lot of personally identifiable information on there that could potentially be used. Like I said, your name, your address, and everything else. So just be wary if you use that app. Be careful. Make sure you're monitoring your records. I thought I would be helpful after my rant earlier. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye bye. Thanks again for listening to the Breach Whisperer blog, sponsored by the cybersecurity law firm of Texas. Don't forget to like this post and subscribe to our channel so you can get updates of when we post new things on our channel. In addition, spread the word for me, right? Let's get out there and tell a friend, and so they can all become paranoid cybersecurity and privacy people. Don't forget, if you would like to connect with me on socials, you can connect with me on Twitter. At Mary N. Cheney, use my middle initial always. For my nonprofit, Minorities in Cybersecurity, that is at Mike Leadership, and Instagram and Facebook at MN Cheney Law. And you can find me on LinkedIn just by searching for my name. So if you're interested, connect with me. Thanks again. And just remember, awareness equals knowledge.